She was very nice, and like I said, she's been in the game longer than I've been alive.
He's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he's gonna be all right.
And young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
Rapper and TV star Bryshere Gray is making the headlines again, and things are getting heated up. The young actor allegedly made some shocking revelations on his social media pages, which have sent the rumor mill into overdrive. The 31-year-old actor, known for his numerous controversies, has added another one which would be hotly discussed in the media for weeks to come. Now, the alleged social media posts are no longer available, but eagle-eyed fans who claim they saw them purport that the revelations involve Hollywood darling Oprah Winfrey and respected Bishop T.D. Jakes. If the fans' claims are true, Winfrey and T.D. Jakes could face legal problems and may lose their reputation in the eyes of the American public. So, what did Bryshere Gray reveal? And how does it affect the reputation of Winfrey and Bishop T.D. Jakes?
She was very nice, and like I said, she's been in the game longer than I've been alive.
I've got all the info right here. So grab some popcorn because it's going to be one hell of a movie. Bryshere Gray is the hottest topic in gossip columns on various blogs and tabloids across the country. The 31-year-old rapper and actor has only been in the spotlight for 9 years, but his rap sheet has more arrests than most of the veterans in Hollywood. From driving without a license to beating up his wife, Gray has seen the inside of a police cell than the number of movie scripts on his table. He doesn't seem to stay far away from trouble as he keeps running into one legal problem after the other. Curiously, the Empire actor isn't in the news for committing any crime, but because he made some shocking revelations about Oprah Winfrey and T.D. Jakes. Fans who chanced on the revelations were surprised to even know that Bryshere Gray knew the respected clergyman and the veteran TV host. Anyway, according to fans, Bryshere has confirmed that Winfrey connected him to T.D. Jakes as his concubine. Wait, let me allow that to sink in because these people are worlds apart, both career-wise and in physical locations. Bryshere lives in Philadelphia, Winfrey resides in Miami, and Jakes lives in Texas. Career-wise, Oprah was a TV presenter, Jakes is still the pastor of the Potter's House, and the last time I checked, Gray was still rapping. So it was kind of surprising for fans and for me to learn that Bryshere Gray allegedly had an affair with the respected bishop through Winfrey's connections. According to the fans, Gray purportedly explained that Winfrey had been supplying the venerable bishop with men for years, and she would take a cut from whatever came out of the trade. Now, this is surprising given Winfrey's reputation as a self-made billionaire whose gradual rise to the top was well documented on TV. I mean, people saw her gradually climb the success ladder from her acting days to her eponymous talk show that captivated the world for decades. So, this accusation was somehow bizarre, but given the recent happenings and mind-blowing discoveries in the entertainment industry, it would be difficult to rubbish Bryshere's accusations. We've seen how people who had similar humble beginnings and made their way to the top like Winfrey, take advantage of people and mistreat them. The likes of Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and R. Kelly readily come to mind. These convicted criminals are living testimonies of two-faced people. In public, they have these soft-spoken, affable characters that draw people to them. But when the lights are off and the doors are closed, the beast in them comes alive. They perpetrate all kinds of heinous crimes against their victims, leaving them battered, bruised, and broken. So, it wouldn't be wise to put Bryshere Gray's alleged accusations past Winfrey, given how people can be deceptive with dual personalities. Bryshere himself has allegedly had a brief stint with a few men in the industry, albeit not his fault. From what we hear, he was forced into the act because he was in desperate need of help to kickstart his acting and music careers. Y'all know how Harvey Weinstein took advantage of younger women who were desperate to get into the movie industry, right? Well, the same thing allegedly happened to Bryshere Gray. The Empire star actually started off as a rapper with dreams of scaling the heights of the hip-hop industry. He performed on the streets to anyone who would listen and use the money to pay for his food and studio sessions. Deep down, the teenage Gray also harbored dreams of becoming a movie star, hoping to combine the two careers effectively, just like the likes of Common, Ice Cube, and Queen Latifah. However, y'all know how unfriendly this industry can be for young people who are just starting out, so Gray needed a mentor, someone who would help him navigate the maze. Cue in Will Smith. And let's be honest, who better to mentor Bryshere Gray than Will Smith, a man who has conquered both worlds and arguably has a greater pull than all those celebs I just mentioned. Plus, Will Smith seems to have the same trajectory as Bryshere, also starting out as a rapper before becoming an actor. However, the mentorship didn't go as planned, as Will Smith allegedly got intimate with Bryshere against his will. Now, we don't know how long the supposed mentorship went on, but it did have a negative effect on the young boy. According to Jaguar Wright, Bryshere and other boys who were in the purported mentorship program could often be heard screaming and running out of the house. The alleged mentorship program affected Bryshere so badly that he reportedly sued Will Smith for $50 million in compensation. Now, there appears to be a trend in Hollywood where the elite take advantage of young men in the industry with the promise of a great and bright career. But I'll come to that later in the video. For now, I'm trying to connect the dots so you can judge if there's any truth in the rumor that Oprah lured Bryshere Gray into having intimate relations with T.D. Jakes. Now, note that Winfrey herself doesn't have a squeaky clean image in all of this. Of course, she's tried to portray a blameless image in the eyes of Americans and the world at large by undertaking several humanitarian projects in impoverished cities and countries. However, some people are not fooled. They claim that lurking behind the all-smiling, charming, and affable personality of the talk show host is a dangerous beast that wreaks pain and havoc on its victims. They assert that Winfrey takes advantage of vulnerable people to further her ambitions of becoming the best actress and host of all time. One such person is Monique Hicks. The veteran actor and stand-up comedian has had a bone to pick with Winfrey since the premiere of the movie Precious in 2009. Before that moment, Monique had always expressed her affection and love for Winfrey on a few occasions. She's called her a leading light and was hoping to work with her and one day step into her shoes. Like everyone else, she fell in love with the Winfrey she saw on TV, the all-smiling and loving one, until she worked with her on the movie Precious. That was when she met the conniving, money-grabbing, evil side of Winfrey. According to her, Winfrey and Tyler Perry teamed up to blackball her because she wouldn't bow to their demands. Explaining what happened, the comedian claimed that after a successful premiere of the movie Precious, Tyler Perry approached her to do a promo tour to help sell the film. She didn't like the idea because she had been away from her family for a long time and wanted to spend some quality time with them. But that wasn't even a big deal, given that she could always return to them after the marketing drive was over. However, the deal breaker for her was that Tyler and Oprah wanted her to foot all the bills that came with promoting the movie. This involved paying her own hotel bills, makeup, dresses, and transportation to and from events and media houses. Monique claimed that she had sacrificed enough for the movie by accepting a paltry $50,000 to shoot it. So she wasn't comfortable using that small money to promote the movie. She said Tyler Perry understood her concerns, and they shook hands on it, only for him to turn around and tell Winfrey and Lee Daniels, the director of the movie, that she was difficult to work with. From then on, Perry and Winfrey told other Hollywood producers about the ordeal of working with Monique and discouraged them from ever working with the comedian. Monique claimed that the apparent blackball took a financial toll on her family as they struggled to make ends meet. She got some movie roles during that time, but it was as if the producers were taking advantage of her situation to lowball her. During her acceptance speech when she won the award for Best Supporting Actress in 2009, she omitted the names of Winfrey, Perry, and Lee Daniels. But that wasn't the end of her struggles. Monique claimed that Winfrey snatched movie roles custom-made for her from right under her nose. In an interview on the Club Shay Shay podcast, Monique explained that director Lee Daniels wanted her to play a role in the movie The Butler, but Winfrey called him and offered more money to him for money for that role. Lee Daniels came out and said, "I did offer Monique The Butler, but as he said to me, he said, Mo, at the time I didn't have no power and I didn't have no money," Monique said. So when Oprah said she wanted it, who played the lead role in The Butler? Oprah Winfrey. So if Monique's words are anything to go by, then it suggests that Winfrey could be in some kind of elite group that took advantage of vulnerable artists in the industry. With her power, fame, money, and gravitas, some fans think it isn't beyond her to pull off some sinister S. Now, going through social media, I gathered a few interesting thoughts that are worth considering. Some fans think that given how Winfrey and Perry allegedly took advantage of Monique to make unreasonable demands, she could have used the same tactic on Bryshere Gray. They surmise that the young actor had approached her for help, and she gave him a few conditions which involved him sleeping with some top dogs in the industry. They claim that the top shots then paid some money to Winfrey for her services, from which she gave her victims some peanuts. So according to them, Winfrey, with the promise of a better career path for Bryshere, might have handed him over to Bishop T.D. Jakes for some cash. Now, all these are fan conjecture, but given all the happenings these past few months, it is difficult to rubbish these theories. A few months ago, the internet was awash with many accusations claiming Bishop T.D. Jakes frequented Diddy's freak-off parties. The rumors were so rife that it forced the venerable pastor to address them. The source of the rumors isn't clear, but it began when Tough News host Jermaine McKinley reported that he received a message from a source who is close to Diddy's ex Cassie Ventura. McKinley said that Cassie turned in a USB device that belonged to a former girlfriend, the late Kim Porter, that contained footage of parties hosted by Diddy, which Jakes allegedly attended. That footage, if it exists, has yet to make it to the public domain. But Diddy and the TD Jakes have been photographed together on at least 2 occasions. One was during what appeared to be the venerable bishop's 65th birthday 2 years ago. At the time, the 2 heavyweights had signed an agreement to have the bishop's sermons air on Diddy's Revolt TV network. The 2 men were photographed in a close-up shot, with the musician making a hand sign, which many fans have associated with the Illuminati. This gave rise to the theory that Diddy and the bishop were part of the secret society that allegedly controls Hollywood and the entire entertainment industry. That same year, the pair were once again photographed, this time at Diddy's 53rd birthday party. It looked like they had a thing for parties, since the only time they seemed to get together was at parties. Now that raises a lot of eyebrows, especially given the kind of parties that Diddy allegedly likes to host. 50 Cent recently gave us a hint when he told fans the reason for turning down invitations to Diddy's parties. On his final lap tour, 50 Cent stopped in the middle of his performance to throw a few shots at the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment. He told the teaming crowd, "That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties." Guy hug you from the front and the back at the same time? F you talking about? Look, if you into that, 50 said on stage. I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying this ain't my kind of party. It's uncomfortable. I think I belong in the girls' bathroom when shit like that is going on. Mark Curry, a former Bad Boy cine, also spoke about Diddy's parties in an interview. He claimed that he'll be informed of the nature of those parties from the outset and cautioned before he attends them. He claimed that there were marked bottles at the parties with special instructions not to touch them, and then there were the usual alcoholic drinks that anyone could take. He also said some of the guests were lined up and had pills popped in their mouths, after which they went bonkers. Mark and 50 Cent aren't the only ones to bring what happens at Diddy's parties to light. Another industry insider who explained what usually went down at Diddy's parties was Josh Ostrovsky, a DJ and social media influencer. According to him, he attended one party which he wasn't invited to and wandered into one of the rooms in the mansion. On getting there, he saw Diddy and another music producer, Felix the House Cat, engaged in a steamy session that surprised him. Speaking on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, Ostrovsky said, "It's now a documented thing that I saw him at a party in Miami," the entrepreneur said. "I was at a party in Miami I should not have been at, like some real black excellence shit that I was not deserving to be at, but I went with the DJ. I took ecstasy and I ended up wandering around. We in some mansion on Sar Island, I guess it's his mansion." He then described the steamy session between Diddy and Felix the House Cat. "It's all hot black people and then just like one moron with an afro and everyone's like, whose man is this? But I came in and I basically saw him. I walked in a room I shouldn't have walked into and I saw him hooking up with a dude, basically like full spooning situation, this guy Felix the House Cat who's like a producer whatever." So given the various testimonies from industry insiders, many fans public found it weird that TD Jakes would frequent Diddy's parties. Seeing what the rumor could cause to his reputation, the bishop, through his spokesperson Derek Williams, claimed that he was just paying respect to the chairman of Revolt Network for allowing him to air his sermons. Derek Williams, the head of TD Jakes Entertainment, told journalists, "As a filmmaker, executive producer, and one of the pioneers of value-based movies, Bishop Jakes, in his role as CEO of TD Jakes Entertainment, paid respect to the former chairman of Revolt during the celebration of his birthday." He further explained that TD Jakes was in LA for important business meetings and only passed by to take a short video to celebrate Diddy's birthday. "Bishop Jakes was in LA for important business meetings, and we felt that a quick appearance at the former chairman of Revolt's birthday event was the respectful thing to do since Bishop Jakes' sermons are aired on the Revolt Network. We both greeted the family. Bishop Jakes recorded a brief celebratory birthday video and left immediately to take our other scheduled meetings. Any accusation to the contrary is wholly unsubstantiated, unverified, and false." So now we've heard testimonies from people who've worked closely with Winfrey on how she allegedly treats talents who don't kowtow to her demands. We've also seen how TD Jakes loves to party with interesting characters like Diddy. Do you see how it's possible Bryshere Gray could have gotten involved with TD Jakes through Winfrey? If you don't consider this fan theory, some fans believe that Winfrey used her friendship with TD T.D. Jakes to establish the connection between him and Bryshere. Later, the young rapper arranged to meet the bishop at one of Diddy's parties to avoid suspicions, because who would think the two were up to something in the crowd of partygoers? If they had planned to rendezvous at a hotel, the prying lenses of the paparazzi would have captured them. However, Diddy's parties provided a safer haven, given the presence of tight security. Not only would the paparazzi be turned away, but the patrons would be free to be their true selves instead of faking it. So, Bryshere and T.D. Jakes wouldn't have to pretend because they were in great company. However, what they might not have known is that Diddy's house was rigged with cameras that recorded everything, at least according to some insiders. Later, he would use this footage to blackmail his victims into doing his bidding. This was first brought to light when Cassie sued the music mogul last November. Aside from beating her to a pulp, the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment subjected her to several inhumane acts, including sleeping with strangers. Diddy would then record all these crimes and probably blackmail her into doing his bidding. This included forcing her to take certain medications, asking to entertain his patrons, and controlling every aspect of her life. According to her, the music mogul chose the clothes she would wear, how she should cut her hair, what car to drive, who to meet, and where she could go. She did absolutely nothing without the express permission of her boss, who also doubled as her boyfriend. For about a decade, Cassie was a slave in the hands of Diddy and probably wanted to break free but couldn't because of the dirt her boss had on her. Interestingly, Cassie wasn't the only one to mention Diddy's secret cameras in a lawsuit. Music producer Rodney Jones Jr., who also sued the music mogul a few months ago, mentioned the secret cameras at Diddy's home in his lawsuit. Jones, who helped Diddy on his latest music project, claimed that the music mogul had planted these cameras all over his mansion, which he used to record freak-off sessions. However, that was just the tip of the iceberg. The music producer claimed that during his time at Diddy's mansion, Diddy tried to lure him to sleep with him. The lawsuit read, "Throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of his a hole by Mr. Combs. These events took place in LA, NY, Florida, and the United States Virgin Islands. In addition to the unsolicited and unauthorized touching, Mr. Jones was forced by Mr. Combs to work in Mr. Combs' bathroom as Mr. Combs walked around naked and showered in a clear glass enclosure." Jones informed Young Miami, who, in the lawsuit, is referred to by her official name, Christina Karam, about Diddy's unsolicited advances, but the rapper just brushed his concerns aside. She told Jones that Diddy was just being playful and didn't intend to be intimate with him. It was just Diddy's peculiar way of showing his affection for the fledgling music producer. As a Christian man, Mr. Jones was uncomfortable with Mr. Combs' advances and expressed his discomfort to Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, KK. The filing continues. KK responded to Mr. Jones' complaint with, Sean will be Sean. KK also attempted to downplay Mr. Combs' groping of Mr. Jones' anus and genitals as friendly horseplay, stating that those acts were Mr. Combs' way of showing that he likes you, Mr. Jones. Now, the reason I bring up all these is to show the kind of parties that went on in Diddy's house. And if T.D. Jakes and Bryshere Gray frequented those parties, you'd have a fair idea of what might have gone on between the two. Y'all remember when I talked about how the elite took advantage of young people through a supposed mentorship program, right? Now, apparently Will Smith was only doing to Bryshere Gray what was allegedly done to him when he first started out. Will Smith, just like Bryshere Gray, had dreams of being a rapper. However, his dreams changed when Quincy Jones asked him to audition for a new TV sitcom, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, in the 90s. According to the legendary music producer, everyone who mattered and would make the final decision was all at a party, so Will Smith should take advantage and put his best foot forward. Narrating how it all went down, the actor claimed that he only had 10 minutes of prep time and even fewer minutes to convince the men in the room. It all seemed daunting, so he told Quincy that he couldn't do it. I grabbed Quincy's arm, probably a little harder than was respectful. "Quincy, no, wait, no, I can't do this now," I whispered in his ear. Quincy looked at me with an unflinching, tipsy joy. "Y'all keep setting up," he ordered the room. "I'm going to talk to Will in the library." The two had a brief conversation, and the actor returned with renewed vigor, aiming to impress the producers and directors of the sitcom. In his own words, "I let it rip and I got to the end and everybody's clapping." Quincy looks at Brandon Tartikoff, the head of NBC. "Did you like it?" And Brandon said, yeah, I like it." And that was it. Will Smith got the role, a role that brought him so much fame that music could never bring him. Now, some fans think that the story was too good to be true, and there's more to it than Will Smith was telling. They surmise that Will and Quincy Jones might have been in a romantic relationship with benefits. They think that the legendary music producer took Will under his wings and slept with him under the guise of mentorship, with the promise of making him a star. Thus, when the time came for Quincy to uphold his side of the bargain, he did it because Will had been a good boy. To back their assertions, the fans questioned why Will Smith would attend an audition for a huge project, such as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, at a party of all places. In their estimation, all the people at the party were friends of Quincy Jones, who belonged to the same group, a group that took advantage of new talents with the promise of a brighter career. This, they believe, explains why Will Smith won the role without breaking a sweat. To them, Will just made up the story to justify how he came into the limelight and that he was doing the same to new talents, just as Jaguar Wright alleged. So, it is possible the Bad Boys actor introduced Bryshere Gray to activities, and then Winfrey passed him over to TD Jakes, who may have had an affair with him at the various Diddy parties he attended. For now, all this is conjecture and nothing is proven yet. But if we've learned anything from Diddy's current woes, it is that sometimes conjecture can be rooted in truth. This brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching.